Hey, welcome everybody. Happy Monday. I hope you all had a terrific weekend. I'm Adam Brunfast, and this is Camp Jacobson Live. Today we have Cooking with Jen, and we're incredibly excited and very grateful for Jen to be presenting for us today. We're just going to do a few preliminary items. First off, as you enter the Zoom meeting here, we are on mute. If you have questions, any questions, feel free to put them on chat, and I'll make sure that I relay those over to Jen so we can answer those while the program is going on. And this program is also being recorded, so if anyone, if you know of anyone who's missing this meeting, they can access it on Facebook, on the Camp Jacobson Facebook page later on today. For introductions, again, this is Cooking with Jen. And we're very grateful that Jen Fainberg, who's in charge of the Camp Jacobson cooking program, is here. During the summer, Jen makes awesome recipes, and this is certainly one of my favorites. I'm sure it'll put a smile on your face as well. And with Jen, her faithful assistant, this is Casey, who is her son, as well as one of our wonderful counselors on our top tier staff at Camp Jacobson. So without any further ado, Jen, Casey, the stage is yours.
Good morning, everyone. So today we're going to make Chex Churro Muddy Buddies, and we made them this summer. The kids seem to really enjoy them, as well as the counselors. I just want to go over the ingredients that you should all have, just to make sure everyone has it. We have Chex cereal. We're only going to make 5 cups of cereal, which is approximately half a box. So this way, if at another time you want to go back and make another recipe, you can. Also, when we did this summer, we used a whole box or a little bit more to feed all of the kids at camp, and you don't need that much. So we need 5 cups, which is about half a box if you don't want to put them into cups. We need 1 cup of chocolate chips. Also, the recipe says 2 tablespoons of butter, but you can also use oil. The recipe calls for butter or margarine, but I used oil over the summer because we couldn't use butter, and sometimes it helps to melt the chips a little bit more and make the chocolate a little thinner, which coats the Chex even better. So if you have oil, not olive oil, that would be great. Also, we need brown sugar. We'll need 1/4 cup of that. We'll need 1/4 cup of white sugar. We'll need a teaspoon of cinnamon, and we will need 1 cup of powdered sugar, okay, enough to coat everything, so we need more of that. All right, you can either pour the ingredients into a bowl and whisk it together, or you can put it directly into a Ziploc bag and shake it up, whatever you prefer. All right, I'm going to put it into the bag right now, just because it's easier than transferring it from the bowl into the bag. So if you want to put it into the bag, and then we'll shake it all up before we add the Chex. So first we're going to make our mixture and then set it aside. All right? Can everyone see? Okay, so we need 1 cup of powdered sugar. Before that, I just want to show you, I made a batch the other day, and well, there was more than this, but this is what it will look like when we're finished. I'm putting 1 cup of powdered sugar. Then I am putting 1/4 cup of white sugar. I am putting another 1/4 cup of brown sugar.
Jen, the white sugar was powdered sugar?
First, I put the powdered sugar, and then I put granulated white sugar.
Granulated white, okay.
So it was 1 cup of the powdered sugar and 1/4 cup of white granulated sugar, and another 1/4 cup of brown sugar. Okay, this is what I have so far. And now we're going to do 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. So now I have this mixture in the bag. I'm going to leave a little air in the bag when I seal it so that I could shake it up. And I basically want to mix all the ingredients as if it was in a bowl and I was whisking it together. Now, for the chocolate chips in camp, we used a double boiler, and I taught the kids what a double boiler was. I had a big pot of boiling water with a big bowl over it. I brought the water to a boil, and I poured the chips into the bowl and let them melt with a little bit of oil in it, so that this way all day long I could just keep on adding more chips and more oil to the bowl rather than to put it in the microwave back and forth. And this way I taught them how to do that. Right now I'm going to use the microwave. It's faster, and some of you might have been doing it that way too. So I portioned out a cup of chips in here, and I'm going to just put a tablespoon of oil in it and put it in the microwave. I'm going to try it for a minute and then stir it up. Everyone's microwave is different, and it kind of depends how long it takes. You want it to be thin, not gooey, so that we could pour it over the Chex Mix. So right now I'm going to put the Chex Mix into my bowl so that everything's set up, so that once I melt the chocolate, it doesn't harden and it's ready to be poured over. Okay, so here I have my bowl for my Chex Mix. All right, so it's just plain Chex cereal. And this is portioned out because I used half the other day, so this is approximately 5 cups. So I'm just going to pour half of the Chex cereal into. You can either do half of the bag or you can portion out 5 cups. Okay, I'm just going to take my chocolate chips into the kitchen, add a little bit of oil, and microwave them, and I will be right back to pour them over the Chex cereal, okay?
Now, while that's happening, I have to go ahead and say this was one of my favorite recipes over the summer. I'm guessing that the bag that was already made is half empty because everyone's been eating it. I know I need to get a shipment. So this is definitely one of the highlight items for the kids over the summer.
So right now my chips are in the microwave, and I'm going to check on them in just
Hey, Jen, a quick question for you. You said that it was that you don't like to use olive oil. Do you have a preferred oil among the other types of oils?
Oil, vegetable oil. It's just a little thinner
Mm-hmm.
and more translucent than olive oil is a little heavy. And sometimes has a little bit of a taste, I feel, for certain things.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Thank you.
Let me check on them. So for any of you doing this as well, I had to add another 30 seconds to it. It wasn't melted enough.
Hey, Jen.
Yes.
Just wondering, in terms of like, are there other ways if you wanted to change the flavor around, like ways of adjusting the recipes, different types of
there are
chocolate?
some other variations. I'll tell you about it in just a minute.
Okay, sounds good.
Yes, so the recipe on the backs of the Chex cereal is for Chex Muddy Buddies, which is to mix peanut butter with the chocolate. But since we are peanut-free camp, I didn't want to use peanut butter. At camp, we use something called Wow Butter, which is a substitute. But not everybody has access to that, and so I wanted to make something, especially today, that everyone could use, because all of our recipes are peanut-free and mostly gluten-free also.
Terrific.
Okay, so now I have my melted chocolate. All right, I want it to be melted enough so that I could kind of pour it over. When we were in camp, I poured it over the Chex, and then I passed around the bowl, and everyone got a turn to gently mix it. We want to make sure not to crush the Chex, so we're kind of just mixing it very gently. And we want to cover all of the cereal with the chocolate. Okay, so I'm going to pour it on. Get all of it. Okay, so now I'm going to take a spatula and I'm going to gently mix all of the Chex. It does take a little while, so we kept the kids busy covering all of the chocolate, covering all of the Chex, so that the powdered sugar mixture sticks to everything. So right now, if we were in camp, we'd be passing this around and everyone would get a turn until they were all covered. But since it's just me, unless Casey wants to help. So as you can see, they are slowly but surely getting covered. Now, when we're done with this, you want to put them into a pan or something with a flat surface. I use this. At camp, we had big baking trays, but I don't have that, and I don't have the room for that. So you can put wax paper or parchment paper on the bottom, but I didn't, and they don't stick at all. There's nothing to stick. And when we're done, we'll put them in the refrigerator to get them cold. Although counselors had been known to eat them warm before they made it to the refrigerator. All right, so right now, all my Chex are pretty much covered in chocolate, as you can see. And Casey is going to help me, which usually in camp I had an assistant, help me pour them into the bag of the sugar mixture. So, the bag, and I'll pour them in. So right now I'm putting all of the Chex into this bag. Hopefully. And there will definitely be some broken pieces, but they actually taste really good in the end. Okay, so right now, usually when you put something into a Ziploc bag, you try and make sure that all the air is out, but we don't want to do that. We need the air in here to help move around. So just seal it up, make sure it's sealed tight. And what we did in camp was we went around and everyone got a turn to shake the bag and make sure that it was all coated. So now I'm going to hold it like this, and we're going to shake it until all of the Chex Mix, Chex cereal is coated. And it should be a light brown, whitish color when it's done. So the kids love this part. All right. It looks like it's full coated. And now I'm going to pour it onto my pan, into my pan, all spread out. Okay, and this is what it should look like. Can everyone see it?
Can you hold a drop higher? Terrific.
All right, so this is our finished Chex Churro Muddy Buddy. And I will put this in the refrigerator, even just 15, 20 minutes, half hour, whatever. Once it's cold, you can start eating it. And then you can put the rest of it into a ziplock bag. You can either leave it out or you can keep it in the refrigerator. I like to keep it in the refrigerator. I like the way it tastes when it's a little chilled, but either way, they taste delicious. So I hope that everyone enjoyed making these, and I look forward to making them again this summer in camp.
Awesome, Jen. That looks terrific. I was just noting on the chat that I was getting hungry watching you do this. It's definitely one of my, I mean, everything that you've made over the summer has been fabulous, but that was definitely one of my favorites. So we really appreciate you doing this. I hope that everyone takes advantage during some downtime after homework, getting a chance to make this and getting a chance to enjoy it. Jen, Casey, thank you both really tremendously for this. Everybody, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Camp Jacobson Live. We do have other events for you coming up as well. So join us Wednesday at 9:30. We'll announce a Lego challenge. This Friday at 4:30, I will be doing story time by the campfire. And then we'll have new activities announced for next week and the upcoming weeks as well. So we look forward to seeing you. Again, Jen, our thanks. Thank you all for joining us. And if you want to catch us recording again, you can catch it on Camp Jacobson the Facebook page. So thank you all for joining us this morning. Take care.